So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Have you ever been hanging out in a lounge and met that one person? You might already know who I'm talking about, but that one person who acts like they know everything about cigars, and they just want to tell you everything they know about cigars, and they won't shut up. They won't stop talking. And I don't know why I'm speaking in such hushed tones, but maybe I'm just afraid that that person is going to hear somewhere, or their ears are going to start ringing. Anyways, I'm going to stop. I haven't met too many people like this in my life, but I have encountered them, mostly online. And but they exist everywhere. They're the people who, and it could be cigars, it could be any number of subjects, but they act like that because they just got into something or got passionate about it, they know every fucking thing that there is to know about it, and they just got to tell you all the knowledge they have. They got to be the one who has all the info, that has the whole lowdown on everything, and they want to tell you all about it. And you know what the reality is? No one cares. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And if you're one of those people who maybe you're well-meaning and you just want to share this new knowledge that you have acquired, there's a way to do that, and there's a way to not do that. So let's talk about that just a little bit. And yeah, we're just going to relax, and we're going to be chill. No drama. None of that. So cue music. What's up, guys? You're watching Dad Smoking Cigars, sponsored by StogiLives.com and Casa Cuevas Cigars. From our Casa to yours. Thank you so much for joining me for another Friday video. Yep, we are going to talk a little bit about know-it-alls and people who, you know, maybe they're well-meaning, then again, maybe they're just people who have to have the scoop and have to have all the info, and they got to be the smartest person in the room, the smartest person in the room who tends to talk the most and the loudest. And maybe it's at a lounge, maybe it's online, because everybody has an opinion, and it can be a bit tiresome having to hear everything or see everything. I don't tend to engage that much in online discussions unless it's kind of a nice, chill, just relaxed setting where we're just having a conversation as opposed to a debate or an argument. I don't get into online arguments. I don't even like getting into arguments that much in person. Unless it's like in good fun, you know, spirited, it's lighthearted. I don't like to get into arguments or debates and stuff like that about what's better, what's greater, what's this, what's that, because it sets my teeth on edge, and I don't really care for it. Another thing I don't care for is when you've got someone who just kind of inserts themselves into your conversation. Maybe you're hanging at the lounge or wherever it is that you smoke, and somebody decides to join you, or maybe they're eavesdropping on a conversation that you're having, like a weirdo, and they just decide to talk about like everything that they know about cigars. Like, oh, what do you smoke? Do you smoke this? Well, I smoke this. And these are the best cigars that there are on the market. And I only smoke these because they're the best. And blah, 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 blah. And I don't know if they're trying to impress you or if they're trying to seem sophisticated, because it's kind of a miss in that regard. But, you know, I've encountered people like that. I've seen people like that where it's just like, I only smoke these because these are the best cigars that they make. And it's just like, well, how do you know that if you haven't tried other cigars? But I digress. The point is, they're kind of coming in and talking about like why this is the best and why you should only smoke these. Do you know why these are the best? Because they're grown here and they use only this kind of tobacco and it's aged for this long, and let me tell you about what I learned about this, and blah 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 blah. And it's just like, dude, we don't care. We really don't care. We just came here to smoke a cigar. Go away. Then again, it might be somebody who's actually joined you for your time at the lounge or wherever, or at the friend's house where you're smoking, and you're all hanging out, and this guy's a friend of a friend, or was invited by this person, or invited by your friend, and they're sitting around smoking with you, and they're just having a good old time. They're just having a good old time, and then this person starts talking. They start talking about the cigar that maybe all of you are smoking, or a cigar that they tried, and they're just trying to make conversation. And that's not a bad thing, but it can become a bad thing when stuff like this starts to happen. It goes beyond making conversation, and they're just trying to tell you everything they know about this specific brand or cigar and stuff like that, but they're doing it in a way that is semi-obnoxious, and in a way they just want to seem very smart. They want to act like they know so much, and you guys could have been talking about sports, you could have been talking about life, marriage, kids, or just any old thing, and maybe you kind of commented, oh, this cigar's really good, I really like this cigar, oh, I've tried that one, that's really good. And then they start in on the conversations like, hey, did you know where they grow the leaves and stuff like that? I learned this the other day, and let me tell you a little bit about what I learned. And it's quite interesting how they age the leaves, and how they do it this way, and how they have these things where they get the tobacco from. And they get the tobacco, it's Cuban seed, but it's grown in Nicaragua. Did you know that? It's pretty cool. No, I gotta tell you about this, and this is really amazing how they do this here, and etc., etc., etc. Now, I'm all for learning more about how cigars are made. I'm all for hearing about it from people who are experienced in the industry, or just a little tidbit that somebody shared with us, like, hey, interesting fact, I learned this about this cigar company and what they do. Isn't that kind of cool? Yeah, that is cool. By the way, what happened with that thing you were telling me about? Oh, that thing, yeah, let's talk about that thing. And the conversation rolls on organically, and it moves on nice and smooth and naturally, and it was just kind of a nice little transition about, like, fun fact. I love fun facts. Fun facts are fun, and it wasn't anything arrogant, or like, I know so much about this, so listen to me talk about it and stuff like that. You encounter people like that in every walk of life, and as fun as it is to talk about cigars, there is a time and a place to talk about how they're made, where they come from, etc. I have to dig into that information when I'm doing a cigar review, but I try to keep it short, sweet, and simple. You guys don't want to hear me drone on and on about what goes into the cigar and how it's made, and how the tobacco's aged, and where the leaves come from, or the seed comes from, or what plantation it comes from. I mean, I might throw little bits of information like that out there. It's like, oh, by the way, it was from this plantation, and it's in this area, and it's actually owned and run by this company you might be familiar with. I found that interesting. Moving on. When it comes to cigars, simplicity is always best. And even if you know a plethora of information, or you only smoke a certain brand, or you think that certain cigars are the best, and you don't understand why no one else would only smoke those and they are the best cigars out there, it's just like, well, they might be some of the best cigars out there, but the truth is, no one really cares. And I know that sounds mean, it almost sounds a little bit too harsh, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about life while smoking cigars, and maybe we might have a little bit of a conversation about how these cigars are made, or we'll talk about what cigars we like, and then we'll move on from there. But if you're just going to try and insert yourself into a conversation and try to talk about how much you know, how sophisticated you are, why you only smoke this one brand, and why you don't understand why everyone smokes other cigars when these cigars are so good, or blah, 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 it can become, well, a bit alienating. And if there's one thing that there's no room for in a conversation while smoking cigars, that is anything that might alienate the people, you and the people around you. So yeah, keep it chill, keep it lighthearted. Don't go into, uncomfortable territory. This, like so many other things I talk about in terms of like what not to do and how not to behave, falls under the umbrella of the don't be a dick policy, which was established at the dawn of time. I mean, really, not being a dick is actually a lot easier than some people make it out to be. Just don't be a dick, no matter where you are, no matter who you're hanging out with or what you're doing. And especially when you're smoking a cigar, because everybody just wants to chill, smoke, relax, and not be troubled by anything, including annoying or alienating conversation. tap into the interests of those around you. If there's a conversation being had about something, if you can kind of drift into that little harbor of what they're talking about, and you can do so organically, naturally, without just jumping right in and saying, hey, I'm going to talk about this now. It just all falls under, basic etiquette. When you're spending time with people and they're doing a leisurely activity, they aren't really interested in, a history lesson or an agriculture lesson or why you are so much more sophisticated than the average cigar smoker because you smoke X brand or whatever the fuck you think you is going to make you more interesting or impressive to the people around you. No one cares. What they do care about is whether or not you're cool or fun to hang with. It doesn't really matter how much information you have or how sophisticated you have or even how much money you make and how many cigars you can buy in a given day, week, month, or whatever. They only want to know if you're fun and cool to hang with. If you're not fun and cool to hang with, don't expect another invitation out to the lounge or to hang out with them while they're smoking, because they're not going to want to have another awkward and weird moment like that. Again, don't be a dick and everything will be fine. It's usually how it works. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this Friday's video, kind of keeping it short, sweet, and simple. Just, this is something that kind of came to mind when I was deciding what to shoot. And, something I decided to kind of throw out there and discuss. Maybe you can relate to it, maybe you can't. Maybe you've had those weird, awkward moments at a lounge, or maybe your buddy brought another buddy to come hang out with you guys when you were smoking at your house, and it got weird. And, that's no fun. It kills the vibe, and it definitely kills the mood. So, just be aware of that. I hope you guys are enjoying yourself when you're smoking. I hope you have good times wherever you smoke. And that you're surrounded by great people having great conversation and enjoying great cigars. Whatever you smoke, even if you only smoke one brand. But seriously, why do you only smoke one brand? There's so many good brands out there. Anyways, I digress. I talk about that in this video if you want to go watch it. So click there if you want to watch that. But anyways, hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. Take care of yourselves. Please be sure to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, I will catch you in the next one. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and also follow Dad Smoking Cigars on dads_smoking_cigars on Instagram, and be sure to check us out on Facebook. Until then, guys, stay smoky, and I'll see you in the next one.